Sir, my name is on special deposit with the court for future return on my interest. I reserve all my rights and remedies, and I waive none ever.
All right, that first part, that's a lot of that's not me. That's he's blending some stuff he's learned from some other people, a lot of people that have been on Crow. The only thing I do recognize when he states that I reserve my rights and I waive no rights ever. So that's very important to do when you're in front of these people, because these people will actually assume that you are waiving rights when you're not waiving rights. So you want to establish like, hey, I don't ever waive rights. I don't waive rights ever. So he did real good there.
I am the beneficiary of this case today. Does the court have any evidence that I am not the beneficiary?
I don't have any evidence at all. We're not having an evidentiary hearing.
Then, for and on the record, the court admits I am the beneficiary, and as beneficiary, I appoint the court as trustee to settle this matter.
Well, I'm not agreeing to that appointment, but again, I am obligated under the law to be sure you're competent. You sound lucid. I would assume that you understand how our system works, even if you don't believe you should be subject to that system. Am I correct?
All right, so that's definitely not my stuff. He's getting into trust law stuff, but he's letting the judge know that he knows this little scam going on with the all caps name, and the judge knows exactly what he's talking about. That's why the judge said you sound lucid. He knows that he knows the game. Now this is a competency hearing. This is one of the things they'll do to you. That's one of the things he was telling me. He said, they keep pushing me for this competency hearing. They're saying I'm incompetent, and this is what they do. The more you start kicking their ass and exposing them, they try and tag you as being incompetent. Because God forbid you just smoke them. So they try and tag you as being incompetent and that, you need mental evaluations. And when you start hearing that stuff, you have them. But the only thing here is like this guy, the judge, he sounds like a decent guy. Listen, he knows that Richard knows the game.
Yes, sir, I do understand that how your system works, but if the court believes I am the surety, I demand my rights to subrogation and all of the collateral securities. I would appreciate a check by the end of today.
Now, what he's doing is he's telling them that, listen, he's stating that he's the beneficiary, and it's sort of the same thing I'm doing. When you go in there and you file affidavits of status, stating that you're the man or you're the woman, you're basically stating that you're the beneficiary in this matter, and he's letting them know. Listen, when a hearing happens, something like this, this has to be bonded. In other words, whoever brings this hearing, who brings this matter before the court, they've got to insure it. And what he's asking for is, hey, he's basically trying to claim their bonds, is what he's trying to do. He's trying to claim because the party that loses, they're responsible for those bonds. So what he's trying to do is actually call in their bonds. And the judge knows that, and you can see from the judge's response that he doesn't give him a response like what are you, crazy, man? I have no idea what you're talking about. He just basically says, well, I'm not going to agree to that. Not that it's not there, not that it's not happening. He's just not going to agree to it.
Well, no, I'm not going to agree to that today or any day. But the reason I'm asking you about this, sir, is because if there is a concern that you're not competent to stand trial, and you may end up going to trial against your wishes, and you may, if you choose, voluntarily absent yourself from that trial. Nevertheless, you could end up being under the jurisdiction of the court, whatever the result of the case. Do you understand?
Listen to his language. May, could, may, could. These are not definitive statements. He's basically telling you may or could that they don't have jurisdiction. He's going to claim they have jurisdiction, and we'll find a way to challenge this when we get to that part. But he's just he's talking in vagueness. This may happen, that could happen. Well, yeah, I could hit the lottery tomorrow, So he's being very vague and very coy, basically.
Sir, I am never under the jurisdiction of the court, seeing as I am the beneficiary.
Okay, well, we're going to differ, I guess, and I don't know what else to tell you about that. But
see, when he says we're going to differ, I guess, but I don't know what else to tell you with that. So Richards, again, he's stating that I'm the beneficiary. It's the same thing you're doing when you're saying I a man or I a woman. You're basically, even in trust law, you're basically telling them that you are the beneficiary in this situation. So what he could have said to the judge when the judge said, well, we can beg to differ, he should have said, well, sir, what evidence do you have that I'm not? Put the judge on the spot. because the judge is basically making definitive statements here. The judge, in a way, is sort of litigating this matter. Because he's already making legal determinations about Richard. This is supposed to be a competency hearing where he's determining his mental faculties, but this judge is making determinations on legal determinations here. So one thing I would have done basically here is just basically throw it on the judge and state that, hey, I'm sorry, because the judge is saying, well, we beg to differ. Oh, excuse me, sir. What evidence do you have that I'm not the beneficiary? And I would press the judge to give me an answer. So that, hey, the judge is stating he's got a position. Great. Make the judge support his position.
The reason I'm telling you this,